Good evening. Welcome back to the shop. So if you're from the South and you're an outdoorsman, you probably got a pretty good idea what these are here in front of me. If you're not and you just stumbled across this channel and you're like, what the heck are these things? These are turkey box calls. And you guys stay tuned and I'll show you how I made them. Well, first off, let's look at these box calls. I have two different styles here. Well, both are box calls, but different style box calls. The first one that we'll talk about is the very first box I made, and this is a canoe or dugout style call. And it starts out with a single piece of wood, in this case, a piece of cherry, and you hollow out the inside and basically thin down the sound chamber to get the sound made. Now I started out again with a solid piece of cherry here, and this cherry is about 6 inches long, 2 inches tall, and 1.5 inches wide. Fits nicely in your hand. The lid for this is just a piece of walnut that I added just some little logos to with my engraver. Now the way I did this was fairly simple. Took a 1 1/8 inch Forstner bit and basically poked holes right myself approximately 1.5 inches on either side. And then I hollow this out with a chisel and my Dremel tool until I got a very thin piece of material, just thin enough to where it's not going to break through. Now that's going to give your lid, which is a convex shape, rubbing against this edge to create the call. I did all this with essentially basically a benchtop sander, a Dremel tool, and a drill press behind me. And that's really it. It made it fairly simple. This is the first call that I made, so by no means are any of these three calls great, but they serve a purpose, and the person that wanted them was my brother. So he's a turkey hunter. He can do fine tuning. I'm not so well with it, but this one does make nice sound. Now after I made that one and I coated this here with the exception of the inside chamber and the bottom of the lid, I coated it with boiled linseed oil just to kind of give it some protection. The other two boxes, again, are just same boxes. I made them a little bit differently using multiple different species of wood. The first one here started out with just a piece of maple firewood that I had laying around. And again, it started out just like this, a solid block of wood. This case about 8.5 inches long, 2 inches high, and 1.5 inches wide. The difference in this one in the sound chamber, it wasn't hollowed out with a drill press. I come in and cut the sound chamber area out on my bandsaw, leaving again 1.5 inches on the sides and about 1/4 inch, come down 1.5 inches, leaving about 1/4 inch thickness at the bottom. Basically took that out. Then I had some smaller, thinner pieces of walnut, in this case, about 1/8 inch thick and 5 inches wide, 5.5 inches wide. I glued those onto the side, and again, using my Dremel tool, making it very thin. The lid, cherry, same convex shape, just rounded over the edges. And then again, same principle, allows the lid to rest on the edges to make the sound. Now, the problem when you're using kind of bench tools and stuff like that with this is you do get a little too loosey-goosey when it comes to sanding away, especially on this softer material, so you can get kind of some imperfections. But I have not found it to make much effect on the sound as long as you have good contact between this bottom surface, a good clean contact between this bottom surface and your edge. This one here is walnut for the main box, created the same way this box was. Some beautiful curly cherry on the side, which made some beautiful sound, and a beautiful piece of curly maple for the lid. Now the lid is a little bit thinner than I would have liked, but it makes a very loud, sharp sound, which comes in handy. And then this side is a little bit different. So you got two different pitches on each side. You got a much higher, louder pitch to the left than you do to the right, which comes in very nice. But again, just sanded everything down, put oil on all the non-contact surfaces, and that's really what you come up with. It's pretty rough, but again, I'm not the expert when it comes to these box calls. When it comes to tuning, I'll leave that to the experts when I ship it out to them. So hopefully that individual makes a nice kill this year, and season starts pretty soon, and can show me some love and show me what results. But hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.